for this one, so a little mobile pod for you. A lot of news in the last week, despite there not being any games. Three big ones that stood out, and I think they're probably the biggest highlight items. The first one is ATJ Investments pulling their funding for SimWorld Middle East, and seen, heard, observed a lot of people talking about the feels of this and how it's not right for the players and the coach. Look, I think we're forgetting there's a big word in their name, and that's investments. And at the end of the day, as vicious as it might sound, that's what all of this is. It's investments, and it's business, and it's opportunities, and it's failures. And for anyone that's upset about any way this is handled, look, I'm not trying to say that this doesn't suck for the players and the coaches involved and the families, because it does. You know, this is a pathway out of, and a pathway to many things, basketball and any sport. So it's obviously upsetting to see that on behalf of the players. But to try to say, hey, you know, could they have found out? Could they have done this? This isn't free. This isn't a volunteer program where the players, parents, families are moving these kids around to get to games. You know how hard it is and how expensive it is to fly from the Middle East to anywhere? There's no direct flights to Ohio. And it's not a cheap travel from the Middle East to even Australia or Los Angeles or New York, let alone the Pacific Northwest to Texas to Boston. This is not cheap. And so for any of these groups, they need to have funding, and they need to have consistent funding for them to be able to make any type of sense for these programs to exist. And in the case of Middle East, it was obviously not a worthwhile investment. This is not a charity. These aren't tax write-offs. These are businesses. And so for ATJ Investments to pull their funding, while it may be disappointing to see, it's a business. And so to get caught up on, well, we wish they could have done this for the players. They did a lot for the players. They started an opportunity for these players, and I think that these players are going to get chances down the line to be on teams that are here in SimWorld Prep currently that allow them to continue their basketball journey. But this was beyond a wins-loss equation. This was teams not being profitable, not attracting elite talent, and it not making sense. So can we please, I know this sounds really terrible, but let's move on. And let's not continue to look at this with ponies and babies and puppies and look at it from a dollars and cents. That sucks. But for anybody that's playing a SimWorld Prep, that's what's going to matter. Because as you move up through the ranks, to be in college, to be at the professional level, dollars and cents are going to matter. Second big piece of news, Bronny James departing early from USC. He has declared for the draft and entered the transfer portal. Bronny has been actually very good for USC. 19 points per game. He's been their leading scorer. He's been a very efficient scorer for them. He's been a great defender for the number 9 ranked team entering the postseason as they begin conference tournament play as the number 1 seed in the Pac-12 this week. He's been really good. And so I think the stunning part of all of this is his decision to do this now. I wasn't going to be surprised at the end of the draft. I said this on this morning. We're recording this on a Monday, so on this morning, SimWorld today. I don't know that scouts are really in love with his game. It is not easy to average 19 points per game in college. However, we've seen a lot of dudes do it that don't end up becoming anything or even getting a toe in the water in the SWBA. Now, you could say, look, he's a 19-point per game scorer in the Pac-12. That's a little bit more than averaging 15 in the MAC or in the America East Conference. And look, you got me. But I still think that there is some hesitancy on behalf of scouts at both the SWU and the SWBA levels that don't necessarily know what they're getting from Bronny James on the basketball court. He's an undersized point guard. He can score. He's shown that ability, but he's not hyper athletic. That matters when you're looking at projecting guys into the SWBA. So if you're asking him to be he hasn't been an elite shooter, but he's been fine. So if you're asking him to be the go-to point guard, there's some parts of his game that might not necessarily translate really well. So I think we're going to continue to see conversations about where does his draft stock land, but let's not simply discredit what he's been doing at USC, which has been a 19-point-per-game score. I think it's questionable that he's leaving now, as opposed to letting the SWU season play out, the SimWorld U season play out, but that's the hand that we're dealt. And then the last piece, John Calipari, he is leaving Kentucky for Arkansas. This is the domino effect that Samuel Charles wrote about this morning for SB Live, if you read that. I'm disappointed in the timing of this, and I don't think anyone was going to be calling me up and say, hey, Marsh, when do you think we should announce this news? Obviously, that wasn't going to happen, but this is disappointing for all the number of things going on, and it's so interesting because now we're going to get Kentucky and Arkansas potentially in the second round of the SEC conference tournament. Kentucky's the number one team. The way the SEC did their conference tournament this season is breaking up the two divisions. So you've got two number one seeds. One of them's Kentucky, one of them's Alabama, and then Arkansas is a two seed in the SEC West. Assuming Arkansas and Alabama survive that opening round, we're going to see them in the second round of the conference of the semifinals. So they would play different teams, obviously, in the quarterfinals. In the semifinals of the SEC, so the final, if you will, division. That is a juicy story right there. Arkansas, Kentucky, you've got the current team, the last team. But the worst thing is there's just going to be question marks about this, no matter what happens. If Kentucky loses, were you really invested, John Calipari, or were you just kind of there? If Arkansas loses, Eric Musselman, what were you paying more attention to, USC or you? Andy Enfield, SMU's done. What are you doing in USC? If they go out early in the FW SimWorld U tournament, what were you paying attention to? Were you worried about recruits in Texas or winning basketball games for USC? I love all that because now it's just more of a drama. But it's for the players and for the teams themselves, it's disappointing timing. But this is clearly an example of these programs and organizations wanting to get ahead of anything. They clearly want to get things locked in. They don't want to be waiting on stuff because the more you wait on stuff, one, if it's unsigned, something can change. And so clearly these programs wanted their new head coach of the future. And two, if it's signed, it's getting out. The ability to hold that information would be incredible, and I'm sure there's probably some SimWorld U regulations that prevent you from not disclosing any future arrangement. But all that said, it's going to be a phenomenal run from here through the end of the season, and I cannot wait. Everything tips off this weekend for postseason play for SimWorld U. So really excited about what that holds as the SimWorld U is expected to announce the rest of their postseason schedule. I believe that's tomorrow, so should be seeing more of that. But overall, it should be an exciting way, if not a very dramatic way, to finish the SimWorld U season. All right, we've got a huge slate of action this week. I'll be on a couple casts on Tuesday and Thursday, of course, on SimWorld Today, Tuesday morning, and the rest of the week. So look forward to seeing you over there. Thanks for tuning in. We'll talk to you then.